November 1963, when Diem asked for American help, it was denied. This is the South Vietnamese president. The South Vietnamese president was getting killed by his own people, by his own military revolutionary council, with the implied consent with the JFK administration. So this is November 1963. Why does that matter? Because 3 weeks later, JFK is going to get assassinated.
As I remember, you said you liked it better before the event. Now you've had a chance to appraise your job. Why do you like it, and why do you want to stay in office 4 more years?
Well, I find the work rewarding. Whether I'm going to stay and what my intentions are and all the rest seems to me still many months away. But as far as the job of president goes, it's rewarding, and I've given before.
All right, that's enough, Kennedy. Now, November 4th, 1963, you're going to see Kennedy. They say he took responsibility for Diem's death. How? Just by making a recording. It was like, I wonder if it was the last 3 months of us talking about a coup d'etat. I wonder if that last 3 months of organizing and supplying and financing a coup d'etat had something to do with it. Of course it did. But he didn't like it. He didn't like how it turned out because he thought that Diem was actually good for South Vietnam. Diem was like a Catholic, just like Kennedy. And so, in some respects, Diem's death, Diem's assassination is foreboding, is a precursor to JFK's own. Is it the same CIA assassination program that took them both out? JFK, his brother RFK, his oldest son RFK Jr. is running for office, running for president today in 2023. 2023, which is 60 years later. 60 years later, after JFK was killed. And Americans still have no idea by who, and for what. The CIA has been stonewalling the administration and the Senate and all the hearings, even the Warren Commission. They didn't even talk to the damn Warren Commission. The CIA kept mum. Mum's the word. They didn't say shit. So November 1963, Diem is the president of South Vietnam, and Diem says, hey, can I get some, help? Can I get the hell? He wanted a plane. Can I get out of here? These motherfuckers are after me. He already had one incident, another incident. The way Diem is going to get killed is he's handcuffed in the back seat of a car. He's been arrested. He's handcuffed, and then the passenger, I want to say, is handcuffed too, and the driver just starts yelling at the guy, and then he takes a bayonet and he stabs the guy in the front seat. So Diem had got arrested with another guy. The guy in the front seat, they get into this argument, and then he stabs the shit out of him and kills him. And then Diem, I guess, said something, or I don't know. The guy takes a pistol and just puts one right into his forehead. Just shoots him right into the forehead. And then he takes his pistol and then shoots the other guy while he was down on the ground twitching. And that was while they were waiting at a train stop. So they had a convoy. They had him arrested, and they were going to take him somewhere, right, to a tribunal, right? You would think to a prison, and then it goes before a judge and a tribunal. But America didn't give him a plane to get out of the country. So it's almost like Gaddafi. It's almost like Gaddafi. When I see a picture of Diem, he's got that nice part. Diem tried to be, as American. He hated the communists. He was for freedom and democracy. The big problem with Diem was his brother. So $40,000 were given to the general by CIA agent Lucien Conan. McNamara was opposed to a coup. JFK said in August, suggestion of a coup was poorly drafted. He said he shouldn't have consented to it. Said Diem kept the country together for 10 years and his death was horrific. Diem had banned flying Buddhist flag. His wife had said that the Buddhists were just barbecuing themselves. Diem set martial law. Vatican Catholic flags were allowed to fly. So there was some hypocrisy that was going on. If anybody's ever seen just that image of the Buddhist monks were setting themselves on fire. So America, we're going to get into Vietnam like pretty fucking big. And this is right in the beginning of Vietnam. We've only been in Vietnam for 2 years, at least substantially. Now, Truman had sent some people into Vietnam, and France was was the imperialist colonialist power before America got in. So could you put it all on Kennedy? You could put a lot of it on Kennedy. Kennedy took 400 military advisors as soon as he got into office and sent them over there. By the end, Diem, he was responsible for Diem being killed, and that was their main person. Really, that should have given the opportunity to get the fuck out. You don't even have a government to defend anymore. You got to create another brand new government. That Diem's government was illegitimate. So now Diem's dead. Now you have to, what? You're not even going to vote. You're not even going to have an election. It's just going to be coup d'etat after coup d'etat, and it's just going to be, this is civilization. No, this is bullshit. This is, you hate the communists so fucking much. You know, you got the communists. You got people that say, let's all, all for one and one for all. But then you got the Bolsheviks. And the Bolsheviks are a different kind of communist. So the Buddhists were setting themselves on fire during JFK's reign. And they did it in 1963. June 11th, 1963. Thick Quang Duc self-immolation. So you have this Buddhist monk that's pissed off at America's involvement in Vietnam and how people are dying. I just saw a press conference, right? He only was in there for 2 years. But he had said that there was 500 casualties in Vietnam. Like last week. Oh, last week there was like 500 casualties. What the fuck is going on? He's saying that he's supplying a bunch of equipment. And they're giving advisors. And they've been given orders not to shoot anybody, but they're allowed to protect themselves. $40,000, CIA agent Lucien Conin. So we know that the CIA is definitely involved with it, and this is a success, right? This is what we wanted. If the CIA has any teeth, how come Russia is still the way that it is? Why is Russia still the way that it is? The CIA could kill the president of Vietnam. The CIA apparently could kill the president of America, but the CIA can't kill the president of Russia, an invading nation who's killing, Ukrainians by the bushel, by the boatload, by the buttload, by the truckload. So it was his brother. His brother was sitting there bombing the Buddhists. You have those old buildings. The architecture looks like when I think of China, basically that's what I think of when I think of China. Just these tall ass buildings, and they have these long canopies. They're square canopies, and they go all the way up. So you got the main building, and then you got these long canopies, like each different level. They were bombing those. They call them pagodas or something. Pagodas. They were bombing the Buddhist pagodas. And then, there's some religious affiliation. So they're sitting there saying, it's you damn Buddhists are your problem. And this is right after Thick Quang Duc is sitting there burning himself. So they're like, we're going to declare war on you, you Buddhist sons of bitches, for making us look bad. They're killing themselves. Thick Quang Duc just sits there in Indian style, crosses his leg, and sets himself on fire. Sits on the ground, sits Indian style and Native American style, and then sets himself on fire and doesn't fucking move. Just stays burning, being totally at peace with himself. But saying that the fucking murder, eventually 4 million Vietnamese people are going to be killed. It's going to span over several presidents. It's going to span, it was Truman. I want to say Truman put the first troops in there. But then you had Eisenhower and then JFK. So Truman and Eisenhower were in Vietnam, and then LBJ and Nixon is going to get into Vietnam too. So since JFK was such a cool cat, he got us into Vietnam, right? And then apparently America was a very cold warrior. We hated the communists at the time, and so he kept that bullshit up, right? And he thought that letting the communists take South Vietnam would have been terrible politically, but I don't think it would have been as bad as he thought it was. Election was still, he's only in there 2 years, so the next election's still a year, 2 away. 2 years away, but, the campaign begins in the beginning. So I got a whole bunch of information here, and I'm going to go through it. But it was his brother. His brother was the war chief, and so Diem was the face, and his brother is sitting there bombing the shit out of all these Buddhist monks while they're setting themselves on fire. So it doesn't even make any sense. You don't even feel, the only threat you feel from them is the threat of their persuasion. Somebody might listen to them. And if you respect a bully, they'll always bully you. They knocked you down, right? They knock you down over and over again. This fly is just going to keep fucking with me and fucking with me. And you know, I can't stand oppressors. I cannot stand oppressor, molester, motherfucking fascist sons of bitches, bullying motherfuckers. I think a fascist piece of shit who likes to like beat up their children, Barbara, Kathy, Lucy, Rosie. I don't know anybody that actually... The reason why Barbara and Kathy like to attack me when I was a child is because they're stupid fucking pieces of shit and they have nothing to offer. They'll never respect you. They're just using violence and they're forcing you to respect you. But the only way that a bully will ever learn their lesson is when you knock that fucking bully down. You can't go treating people like shit. And then when you push me and then I pushed you back and you fell down, well, fuck. You're like, well, shit, maybe I shouldn't go around pushing people. Now you got a conscience. Now that I've introduced that, perhaps if you bring me pain, I'll bring you pain. Now all of a sudden you got a conscience. Now all of a sudden you could think logically, well, shit, nobody should be hurting anybody. Oh, yeah. It only took what? Someone to stand up to you to figure that shit out. What's going on over here?